Unable to connect to chat. Successfully connected. Okay. Am I live? Am I live? Hang on. I've got the wrong glasses on, but these are my glasses for reading. Yeah, don't look at my hair. Hey, friends. Greetings, Deborah E. Hey, friends. This is Bev from Reading with Beverly Wolfe. And I want to do a live reading of the final chapter. Hang on, please. Oh. Hey! Okay. Now, okay. I'm going to give people a few minutes to get here. So we'll talk among ourselves for a second here. 11. Once I start reading, folks, once I start reading, I can't look at the chat. Hi, Dallas. Hey, Tamasu. Oh, well, that's so nice. Yesterday, I read chapter 37 and the final chapter yesterday, but I've only edited the one. And I'm telling you, chapter 37. Hi, Joshua and Doris. I'll tell you something. It was a really emotional chapter for me. It took me 3 times as long to read that chapter for the simple reason as I had to stop and blow my nose and stop and blow my nose and stop and blow my nose. When I was reading Anne's part, I was really crying. I was like, so, oh my God, it was, YouTube hasn't sent notification yet. Okay, so we'll just stay here for a few minutes. I've got 2 gigs. I'm not worried about it. I got 2 gigs on my tablet. That's what I'm linked to right now. So I'm not. Hey, Dan Peterson, Tamasu, Suburban Hillbilly, Dallas, Deborah E. And is that, oh, we got 10 here. Okay. You got yours on your email. Well, I actually sent it's really hard. Like, folks want me to email them, but the thing is I don't always have the time. I mean, when I'm setting up a live feed, it's like I had to put my dogs down for a nap in the crate. I had to make sure I went to the bathroom, that I had a fresh cup of tea, that my laundry was on, that the bathroom door was shut so you don't hear my washing machine and my dryer, all those things, right? So, Bourbon, why aren't you on my Facebook? Because if you're on my Facebook, I would message you. I would message you like I did Dallas and Sam and Mary Jane. Although Mary Jane had to go out this morning and was out and about town, so she's like exhausted. So if she does come in here, don't talk to her. She'll probably just fall asleep in the middle of the feed anyway. So, oh, so you got 3 notices. Okay. Okay. All right. So anyway, this is the live. Melanie, hi, honey. This is the live reading of the final chapter. Now, let me clarify a couple of things. It is live. And when I read to you guys and I edit it, there are mistakes. So this is live. Oh, me too, Mel. Me too. And so there's going to be mistakes. B, there is a pre-recorded recording of the final chapter. I just haven't edited it yet. So that will be the one that will be on the playlist. And what else was I going to say? Oh, right. I can't read the chat while I'm reading. So what we'll do is I will read the chapter and then we'll have a visit afterwards. Is that okay with everybody? All right. T. Melanie Ann. Dallas is my sister in Missouri. So you can say hi to Aunt Red or, oh my God, here we go. Hello?
I'm sorry, you're live.
No, it's okay. I'm tethered to my tablet. I'm tethered to my tablet, so the phone, but I am live. What's going on?
they're not going to put the sign up because one's coming available in the next 2 months.
Okay, we'll call Wendy.
First floor.
Call Wendy.
All right.
All right, I love you. Bye. Do you have her new phone number?
It's got 819.
No.
It's Mississauga.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Bye.
We're trying to get my sister in another, never mind. So, and I have to change my glasses. So I'm going to put my phone on, do not disturb. And even if it rings, as you notice, we're not going to buffer. All right. So, excuse me. I have to put my proper glasses on. These are my computer glasses because I sit so far away. These are my regular glasses with my bifocals, and these are what I need to read. So, okay, here we go. We will have a visit after the chapter. Bear with me, folks. Okay. My glasses are dirty. Of course. All righty. I'm in a lot of pain today. That's why I'm not doing a lot of physical work, but I do. Oh, okay. We'll talk after. Anne of Green Gables, chapter 38, The Bend in the Road. Scratched. Marilla went to town the next day and returned in the evening. Anne had gone over to Orchard Slope with Diana and came back to find Marilla in the kitchen, sitting by the table with her head leaning on her hand. Something in her dejected attitude struck a chill to Anne's heart. She had never seen Marilla sit limply and inert like that. Are you very tired, Marilla? Yes. No. I don't know, said Marilla wearily, looking up. I suppose I am tired, but I haven't thought about it. It's not like that. Did you see the oculist? What did he say? Asked Anne anxiously. Yes, I saw him. He examined my eyes. He says that if I give up all reading and sewing entirely, and any kind of work that strains the eyes, and if I'm careful not to cry, and if I wear the glasses he's given me, he thinks my eyes may not get any worse and my headaches will be cured. But if I don't, he says I'll certainly be stone blind in 6 months. Blind, Anne. Just think of it. For a minute, Anne, after her first quick exclamation of dismay, was silent. It seemed to her that she could not speak. Then she said bravely, but with a catch in her voice, Marilla, don't think of it. You know he has given you hope. If you're careful, you won't lose your sight. You won't lose your sight altogether. And if his glasses cure your headaches, it will be a great thing. I don't call it much hope, said Marilla bitterly. What am I to live for if I can't read or sew or do anything like that? I might as well be blind or dead. And as for crying, I can't help it when I get lonesome. But there, it's no good talking about it. If you'll get me a cup of tea, I'll be thankful. I'm about done out. Don't say anything about this to anyone for a spell yet, anyway. I can't bear that folks should come here to question and sympathize and talk about it. When Marilla had eaten her lunch, Anne persuaded her to go to bed. Then Anne went herself to the east gable and sat down by her window in the darkness alone, with her tears and her heaviness of heart. How sadly things had changed since she had sat here the night after coming home. Then she had been full of hope and joy, and the future had looked rosy with promise. Anne felt as if she had lived years since then. But before she went to bed, there was a smile on her lips and peace in her heart. She had looked her duty courageously in the face and found it a friend, as duty ever is when we meet it frankly. One afternoon, a few days later, Marilla came slowly in from the yard where she had been talking to a caller, a man whom Anne knew by sight as John Sadler from Carmody. Anne wondered what he could have been saying to bring that look to Marilla's face. What did Mr. Sadler want, Marilla? Marilla sat down by the window and looked at Anne. There were tears in her eyes in defiance of the oculist prohibition, and her voice broke as she said, he heard that I was going to sell Green Gables, and he wants to buy it. Buy it? Buy Green Gables? Anne wondered if she heard aright. Oh, Marilla, you don't mean to sell Green Gables. Anne, I don't know what else there is to be done. I've thought it all over. If my eyes were strong, I could stay here and make out to look after things and manage with a good hired man. But as it is, I can't. I may lose my sight altogether, and anyway, I'll not be fit to run things. Oh, I never thought I'd live to see the day when I'd have to sell my home. But things would only go behind worse and worse all the time till nobody would want to buy it. Every cent of our money went in that bank, and there's some notes Matthew gave last fall to pay. Mrs. Lynde advises me to sell the farm and board somewhere with her, I suppose. Won't bring much. It's small and the buildings are old. But it'll be enough for me to live on, I reckon. I'm thankful you're provided for with that scholarship, Anne. I'm sorry you won't have a home to come to on your vacations, that's all. But I suppose you'll manage somehow. Marilla broke down and wept bitterly. You mustn't sell Green Gables, said Anne resolutely. Oh, Anne, I wish I didn't have to. But you can see for yourself, I can't stay here alone. I'd go crazy with trouble and loneliness, and my sight would go, I know it would. You won't have to stay here alone, Marilla. I'll be with you. I'm not going to Redmond. Not going to Redmond? Marilla lifted her worn face from her hands and looked at Anne. Why, what do you mean? Just what I say. I'm not going to take the scholarship. I decided so the night after you came home from town. You surely don't think I could leave you alone in your trouble, Marilla, after all you've done for me. I've been thinking and planning. Let me tell you my plans. Mrs. Barry wants to rent the farm for next year. Excuse me, Mr. Barry wants to rent the farm for next year. So you won't have any bother over that. And I'm going to teach. I've applied for the school here, but I don't expect to get it, for I understand the trustees have promised it to Gilbert Blythe. But I can have the Carmody school. Mr. Blair told me so last night at the store. Of course, that won't be quite as nice or as convenient as if I had the Avonlea school, but I can board home and drive myself over to Carmody and back in the warm weather at least. And even in winter, I can come home Fridays. We'll keep a horse for that. Oh, I have it all planned out, Marilla, and I'll read to you and keep you cheered up. You shan't be dull or lonesome, and we'll be real cozy and happy together, you and I. Marilla had listened like a woman in a dream. Oh, Anne, I could get on real well if you were here, I know. But I can't let you sacrifice yourself to me. It would be terrible. Nonsense, laughed Anne merrily. There's no sacrifice. Nothing could be worse than giving up Green Gables. Nothing could hurt me more. We must keep the dear old place. My mind is quite made up, Marilla. I'm not going to Redmond, and I am going to stay here and teach. Don't you worry about me a bit. But your ambitions, and I'm just as ambitious as ever, only I've changed the object of my ambitions. I'm going to be a good teacher, and I'm going to save your eyesight. Besides, I mean to study at home here and take a little college course all by myself. Oh, I've dozens of plans, Marilla. I've been thinking them out for a week. I shall give life here my best, and I believe it will give its best to me in return. When I left Queens, my future seemed to stretch out before me like a straight road. I thought I could see along it for many a milestone. Now there's a bend in it. I don't know what lies around the bend, but I'm going to believe that the best does. It has a fascination of its own, that bend, Marilla. Excuse me. It has a fascination of its own, that bend, Marilla. I wonder how the road beyond it goes. What there is of green and glory and soft checkered light and shadows. What new landscapes. What new beauties. What curves and hills and valleys further on. I don't feel as if I ought to let you give it up, said Marilla, referring to the scholarship. But you can't prevent me. I'm 16 and a half. Obstinate as a mule, as Mrs. Lynde once told me, laughed Anne. Oh, Marilla, don't go pitying me. I don't like to be pitied, and there's no need for it. I'm heart glad over the very thought of staying at dear Green Gables. Nobody could love it as you and I do, so we must keep it. You blessed girl, said Marilla, yielding. I feel as if you'd given me my life, given me new life. I guess I ought to stick it out and make you go to college, but I know I can't. So I ain't going to try. I ain't going to try. I'll make it up to you, though, Anne. When it became noised abroad in Avonlea that Anne Shirley had given up the idea of going to college and intended to stay home and teach there was a good deal of discussion over it. Most of the good folks, not knowing about Marilla's eyes, thought she was foolish. Mrs. Allan did not. She told Anne so in approving words that brought tears of pleasure to the girl's eyes. Neither did good Mrs. Lynde. She came up one evening and found Anne and Marilla sitting at the front door in the warm, scented summer dusk. They liked to sit there when the twilight came down and the white moths flew about in the garden and the odor of mint filled the dewy air. Mrs. Rachel deposited her substantial person down upon the stone bench by the door, behind which grew a row of tall pink and yellow hollyhocks, with a long breath of mingled weariness and relief. I declare, I'm glad to sit down. I've been on my feet all day, and 200 pounds is a good bit for 2 feet to carry around. It's a great blessing not to be fat, Marilla. I hope you appreciate it. Well, Anne, I hear you've given up your notion of going to college. I was real glad to hear it. You've got as much education now as a woman can be comfortable with. I don't believe in girls going to college and that cramming their heads full of Latin and Greek and all that nonsense. But I am going to study Latin and Greek just the same, Mrs. Lynde, said Anne, laughing. I'm going to take my arts course right here at Green Gables and study everything that I would at college. Mrs. Lynde lifted her hands in holy horror. Anne Shirley, you'll kill yourself. Not a bit of it. I shall thrive on it. I'm not going to overdo things. As Joshua Allen's wife says, I shall be medium. But I'll have lots of spare time in the long winter evenings, and I've no vocation for fancy work. I'm going to teach over at Carmody, you know. I don't know it. I guess you're going to teach right here in Avonlea. The trustees have decided to give you the school. Mrs. Lynde, cried Anne, springing to her feet in surprise. Why, I thought they'd promised the school to Gilbert Blythe. So they did. But as soon as Gilbert heard that you had applied for it when he went to them. But as soon as Gilbert heard that you had applied for it, he went to them. They had a business meeting at the school last night, you know, and told them that he withdrew his application and suggested that they accept yours. He said he was going to teach at White Sands. Of course, he gave up the school just to oblige you, because he knew how much you wanted to stay with Marilla. And I must say, I think it's real kind and thoughtful of him, that's what. Real self-sacrificing, too, for you'll have his board to pay at White Sands, and everybody knows he's got to earn his own way through college. So the trustees decided to take you. I was tickled to death when Thomas came home and told me. I don't feel that I ought to take it, murmured Anne. I mean, I don't think I ought to let Gilbert make such a sacrifice for me. I guess you can't prevent him now. He signed the papers with the White Sands trustees, so it wouldn't do him any good now if you were to refuse. Of course you'll take the school. You'll get along all right now that there are no pies going. Josie was the last of them, and a good thing she was, that's what. There's been some pie or other going to Avonlea School for the last 20 years, and I guess their mission in life was to keep the school teachers reminded that Earth isn't their home. Bless my heart. What does all that winking and blinking at the Barry Gable mean? Diana is signaling Diana is signaling me for, excuse me, folks. Diana is signaling for me to go over, laughed Anne. You know we keep up the old custom. Excuse me while I run over and see what she wants. Anne ran down the clover Anne ran down the clover slope like a deer and disappeared in the furry shadows of the haunted wood. Mrs. Lynde looked after her indulgently. There's a good deal of the child about her yet in some ways. There's a good deal more of the woman about her in others, retorted Marilla with a momentary return of her old crispness. But crispness was no longer Marilla's distinguishing characteristic, as Mrs. Lynde told her Thomas that night. Marilla Cuthbert has got mellow, that's what. Anne went to the little Avonlea graveyard the next evening to put fresh flowers on Matthew's grave and water the Scotch rose bush. She lingered there until dusk, liking the peace and the calm of the little place, with its poplars whose rustle was like low, friendly speech, and its whispering grasses growing at will among the graves. When she finally left it and walked down the long hill that sloped to the Lake of Shining Waters, it was past sunset, and all of Avonlea lay before her in a dreamlike afterlight, a haunt of an ancient peace. There was a freshness in the air of a wind that had blown over honey-sweet fields of clover. Home lights twinkled out here and there among the homestead trees. Beyond lay the sea, misty and purple, with its haunting, unceasing murmur. The west was a glory of soft, mingled hues, and the pond reflected them all still softer shadings. The beauty of it all thrilled Anne's heart, and she gratefully opened the gates of her soul to it. Dear old world, she murmured. You are very lovely, and I'm glad to be alive in you. Halfway down the hill, a tall lad came whistling out of a gate before the Blythe homestead. It was Gilbert. And the whistle died on his lips as he recognized Anne. He lifted his cap courteously, but he would have passed on in silence if Anne had not stopped and held out her hand. Gilbert, she said with scarlet cheeks, I want to thank you for giving up the school for me. It was very good of you, and I want you to know I appreciate it. Gilbert took the offered hand eagerly. It wasn't particularly good of me at all, Anne. I was pleased to be able to do you some small service. Are we going to be friends after this? Have you finally forgiven me my old fault? Anne laughed and tried unsuccessfully to withdraw her hand. I forgave you that day by the pond landing, although I didn't know it. What a stubborn little goose I was. I've been. I may as well make a complete confession. I've been sorry ever since. We are going to be the best of friends, said Gilbert jubilantly. We were born to be good friends, Anne. You've thwarted destiny long enough. I know we can help each other in many ways. You're going to keep up with your studies, aren't you? So am I. Come, I'm going to walk home with you. Marilla looked curiously at Anne when the latter entered the kitchen. Who was that who came up the lane with you, Anne? Gilbert Blythe, answered Anne, vexed to find herself blushing. I met him on Barry's Hill. I didn't think you and Gilbert Blythe were such good friends that you'd stand for a half an hour at the gate talking to him, said Marilla with a dry smile. We haven't been. We've been good enemies. But we've decided it'll be much more sensible to be good friends in the future. We were really there half an hour? Were we really there half an hour? It seemed just a few minutes. But you see, we have 5 years of conversations to catch up with, Marilla. Anne sat long at her window that night, companioned by glad content. The wind purred softly in the cherry boughs, and the mint breaths came up to her. The stars twinkled over the pointed firs in the hollow, and Diana's light gleamed through the old gap. Anne's horizons had closed in since the night she had sat here after coming home from Queen's. But if the path set before her feet was to be narrow, she knew that the flowers of quiet happiness would bloom along it. The joys of sincere work and worthy aspirations and congenial friendship were to be hers. Nothing could rob her of the birthright of fancy or her ideal world of dreams. And there was always the bend in the road. God's in his heaven, all's right with the world, whispered Anne softly. I do apologize. Let me put my glasses on now so I can see y'all. I do apologize for the mistakes. There will be a thank you, Nancy. The end. Yes. I apologize for the mistakes. There will be a recorded and edited version uploaded either today or tomorrow. The next book is Anne of Avonlea. But I'm going to give myself a few days rest. Thank you. I'm going to give myself a few days rest just because I still have the other half of that quilt top in blocks to make, and then I have to get it assembled. So I'm going to be taking a break from probably our half-acre homestead and reading with Beverly Wolfe to work on the quilt. This afternoon, for all of you, I'm going to cross-talk channels now. For this afternoon or soon or this evening, I am going to do a live feed update on my grow tent and my plants. So there is that coming later, but I'm really tired and I'm trying to get my housework caught up, and it's Thursday. And traditionally, Friday has always been my day to clean my house because I used to babysit when Arthur was little. I used to babysit. And so I would vacuum every morning and vacuum every night and all that stuff. But Friday was my day after the kids left to clean my house, put Arthur to bed early, and put the TV on real low and read a book. And because I didn't, the weekend was my time to enjoy my time, and I wanted my house clean. But old habits die hard, and I can't do that anymore. So I start working on getting things cleaned up like on Monday. But I also have other work to do. So it's, it is what it is. All right. Where did the name Avonlea come from? I have no idea. No problem. Love listening to you read. Well, thank you, Joshua. I'm pretty sure I'm talking to Doris though, right? So, that's what I do, Sandra. Piecemeal the house. Like today, I have to. My sister and I were talking about this. People who don't have constant chronic pain, like I'm really lucky. Mine rotates, so it's not always in the same place. Like there are certain places in my body that I always have pain, but the really bad clenching pain rotates in different parts of my body, like memory pain. And so I can, like, if I was just feel like I was under a rock all the time, I wouldn't be able to function at all. I wouldn't even be existing. I would probably ask to be put out of my misery. But so like I do things weirdly compared to I used to. When I used to clean, it was no big deal. I would start in my bedroom, and I would, like, because I had 2 stories back there. I start in my bedroom, and I'd do my bedroom, Arthur's room, and then I would clean my bathroom, and then I would work my way down the stairs, and I would wash my kitchen and landing hallway floor, and I would vacuum the living room and all that stuff until and then I would have a nice hot bath. Although bathing in Peterborough was always hard in the wintertime because the chlorine burnt my skin. So today I went in the bathroom and I threw a load in the wash. And normally Howie puts it in the dryer for me, but my shoulder's is sore, but it's pretty mobile today. So I was able to unload the dryer. And while I unloaded the dryer. I folded his jeans while I was sitting on the toilet folding his jeans. And because I haven't folded and put away laundry in like a month. So we're living out of laundry baskets. I would clean like I was killing snakes. Absolutely. Absolutely. And now it's like, I can't do it anymore. I can't do it anymore. I mean, that's just the way it is. It's tough when your body doesn't let you do what you want it to. I know. I know. It's like I used to love to write. Before I had internet, I wrote letters daily. I had my best friend Geraldine in Apsley. I would sit down on Monday and start writing a letter, or over the weekend or whatever. And then I would write a paragraph about what I was doing and say, okay, I got to go get this done. And then I would do a double slash at the end of the sentence, because I learned that in business English in high school, that means you're going to a new paragraph, or, it was a shorthand thing. Right. So, and then when I had another break, I would write some more, or sometimes it would be days, but the letters got mailed like once a week, easy. Right. And I would always get one from her. So we would have these like 6-7 page letters, and it would be like, okay, this is a long one. Get yourself a pot of tea. And I miss that, but my hands don't let me write anymore. I journal to a certain degree, and I do write the occasional letter, but by the third page, or by the second page, my writing is getting increasingly looking less schooled and more chicken scratch. You know what I mean? It's tough when yes. Can you shout out my friend? His name is Nick Gers. Hey, Nick Gers. Who are you? Nice to meet you. So, Sandra Evans, my to-do list. Learned what I didn't to put top tomorrow. Okay, I misunderstood that. What you didn't want to do today, you put on the top of tomorrow, right? Is that what you mean? Oh, I got to tell you, folks, I have a lot of calcium in my water, and okay, you wanted me to say knickers, didn't you? You funny bugger. Anyway, when I do my dishes in my dishwasher, I was having a hell of a time with my dishwasher. I use the finished jet dry stuff, and I got, so I was using 2 of the pucks, and then I realized if I wash my dishes on a high heat setting, it did better. And then I was using 2 pucks and all this stuff. Nick Gers. So what I found out was, I did a video one day. You know how I did a thing on vinegar and Dawn dish soap? Okay, folks, I'm not kidding. I swear by it now. I use it for everything, absolutely everything. But the one thing I do is, it's half. What I do is, when I get a bottle of Dawn dish soap, the Ultra, I'll take the empty one out from under my sink, and I'll put half the Dawn dish soap in it, and I'll fill them both up with vinegar, because I don't even keep dish soap. I just keep Dawn and vinegar, right? And I found, now it has to be cut 50% or more with vinegar. Otherwise, don't do what I'm about to tell you, okay? Or you'll have a suds kitchen, right? So I take I shake up. You got me thinking now that everything I do or say is going to be misconstrued. Okay, I shake up the Dawn and the vinegar, and I give it up. Squeeze into my bottom of my dishwasher. You got that? So that's the technical term. 2 good squeezes into the dishwasher, right? The bottom of the dishwasher. 1 finished tablet. 1. My dishes, I haven't had to use the jet dry or anything. My dishes are coming out sparkling and my dishwasher's clean every single time. I'm saving so much more money because those dish tabs, they're bloody expensive, right? Dawn, when you get it on sale or you go to Costco and you get three of the big ones for $7. What the hell? Vinegar's $1.69 a gallon, for God's sake, right? So, folks, if you are finding your dishwasher isn't coming clean or you have water spots or anything, try 2 good squirts of Dawn 50% Dawn dish soap and vinegar and put it in the bottom of your dishwasher before every wash. It works like a charm. Oh yeah, I use Dawn and dish soap, Dawn and vinegar for everything. For instance, I can't mop anymore, so I have one of those. It's almost like Veleda or whatever. You pull it has a little bottle of solution, and you pull it, and it squirts, and you run the pad around. I don't use that because the bottle eventually just dies and leaks and crap, right? But what I do is I fill my sink up with hot water and I will squirt Dawn and vinegar on the floor and I will soak the pad in the hot water, wring it out, drop it on the floor and run it around with that stupid Swiffer thing. And then I'll rinse it again and I'll run it around until the floor comes clean, right? But I can do it piecemeal and I'm not lugging and swinging a mop. I can't swing mops anymore. When I quit working at the bakery, I was washing those floors before I left every night. And I used an industrial mop and an industrial bucket. And I'm telling you, can't do it anymore. Two full squirts throughout the bottom of your dishwasher. Like that. 2 full squirts. No more. Because what I noticed was I opened my dishwasher in the beginning of the cycle to see what was happening the first time I did it. And there was suds. Okay. That's what the Dawn does. But the vinegar stops it from sudsing too much so that it flows out the bottom of your dishwasher, right? Never ever put straight dishwashing liquid in your dishwasher. But I might try and run. You know what? I should try running a load just with the Dawn and vinegar and see what happens. Hometown cooking with Mary Ann. Hi, how you doing? Oh yeah, Dawn and other dish soaps don't work as well. It's Dawn Blue, the Dawn Ultra Blue is the best. I use it in my toilet, in my sink, in my tub. I clean my counters with it. I clean my sinks with it. I did clean some of the tile. You know how the tile behind your sink gets flecked with stuff? I did that and I ran out of steam by the time I got to the toaster. But Howie noticed. He said, wow. I said, yeah, I didn't get to finish it. And he goes, I noticed. He said, I was looking and going, oh, wow. Oh, okay. She ran out of gas. Right. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can still use it. You can still use it, Dallas, that you got the other Dawn, but the Blue Ultra works the best. So, and that's all I use. I used to go to Costco and buy the big boxes of the 4 packs of the Lysol toilet cleaner. Not really good for your septic, right? I still have to get some CLR for my shower head. But I'm wondering if I soak my shower head in Dawn and vinegar and let it soak. Will that work like CLR? I've got some experimenting to do, folks, for our half-acre homestead. I wasn't going to do any videos, but I think I'm gonna. Thank you. Thanks for all my tips. Yips. I'm wondering, because if I spray it and I use the squirt bottle. I don't put it in a spray bottle. I use the squirt bottle and I just squirt everywhere I need it to go. I squirt it all around my tub surround and all around my tub and everything. But if you leave that sit for an hour and you rinse it off, the hard water scale comes off. So I'm wondering if I soak it in a baggie with Dawn and vinegar, Will that work? You can put vinegar in the plastic bag, rubber band. Really, just vinegar. Okay, that's the second person who said soak the shower head in straight vinegar, just tie it in a plastic bag. Oh, okay. You know what? I will. I know, Doris. It was a wrong letter. I got it though. I I'm fluent in internese, which is internet language. I can. You know how they every once in a while they'll post these things on Facebook. You only one and so many people can read this because it's upside down. It's like, please. I learned to. I talk on the internet. I can read almost anything. My problem is Taiwanese. Thank you, Suburban Hillbilly. My problem is when I go to read something normal, I stumble over it because the grammar's correct and they're using the proper English language. I got connection for my large kitchen sink that swivels bends since had this big country not divided sink had the hardest time rinsing. Really? I want one of those. You know what I really, really would like, but I can't have because how we put the granite counter in, but he did it with the piece kit. You can't buy those anymore, really. We got it at Home Depot, and we were lucky we did. Otherwise, we wouldn't have granite counters, right? But they were in pieces. But I would like one of those big square double deep sinks with the dish pit thing on the spring. Oh, I'd love that. I want a dish pit. That's what I want. I want a dish pit. Forget it. I'll do dishes. I'm a good dishwasher. I just, I'm used to working with industrial equipment. Um, AR. Okay, I missed something here. Anyway, I have to go. I have work to do. I have my dogs to put out. I hope you enjoyed the live reading of oh my God, Anne of Green Gables, the final chapter of Anne of Green Gables. Give me a few days, a week maybe, and we will start Anne of Avonlea. Okay, and hopefully by tomorrow, the final chapter, edited and put into the playlist, will be up. Okay. Can you email me? Who are you talking to? Because if you're talking in all caps, I think you're talking to me. So this is Bev from Reading with Beverly Wolfe, or Bev from Cooking with Cannabis, or Mrs. Wolfe from Our Half Acre Homestead, saying if you are on my Cooking with Cannabis channel, look for a live feed tonight on the Grow Tent. I'm going to do it with my phone like I did at Giant Tiger. I think that went really well. All right. Take care. God bless. I love you guys. And I'm really have been enjoying our journey with Anne. All right. Next is Anne of Avonlea. Love you guys. Take care. God bless.